What's up everybody, Mike here with Reprint, and in this video we're going to go in depth on the dampers. I'm going to show you exactly their features, functions, purpose, and ways to make your life easier. If you're someone that requires extra support, we do offer a service on our website, link in the description, that we will jump on a video call for a fee and help you with your printer. If you buy your supplies, your DTF supplies from us, we will help you with your machine. So let's jump into the dampers and their purpose. So right here I have a typical damper for a DTF printer. Roland, Muto, Mamaki, they all have dampers pretty similar to this one, so they all serve the same function. Number one, that is a filter to keep contaminants from going into your print head. With these DTF printers, these were made larger to accommodate for the high viscosity of the inks, and it allows more contaminants to enter your print head. So you're going to have more problems when it comes to DTF. This is what's called a compression damper. It has a little valve right here with the spring that opens and closes. Its purpose, when it does its cleaning, this valve opens right here and it allows ink into this channel or chamber right here to feed the print head to keep a continuous flow of ink inside this reservoir. When you buy a DTF printer, typically they come with extras. I have so many of these that came with extras from all the machines that I've purchased, and please do not get the perception that they're doing this to be nice. They did not send you extra dampers to be nice. It's because these Chinese dampers have a high failure rate, and they know that you may have problems with one, if not all, so they send you an extra set for that purpose. When it comes to Roland, Muto, and Mamaki printers, Japanese printers, you typically have better dampers from the OEM. I highly recommend, if you're an eco-solvent guy, UV person, then make sure you're using OEM dampers, because it's very important. The filter size is important to allow. The Japanese ones are just made so much better, but they all serve the same purpose. The reason this has a valve compared to some of the earlier models like the SPs, the reason they have a valve is because this is a semi-pressurized system. The ink tanks are up there on top, which create some sort of pressure to the system. It isn't a pressurized system as far as having any kind of pump that pushes the ink, but it is semi-pressurized. So you have to be careful whenever you're replacing these dampers that this ink tube is live. The reason it has this valve is so it doesn't drip ink. If this valve was bad, if you had a bad damper, a common symptom is dripping ink on the film or the paper. You will see drip marks, and usually that's a strong indicator that your valve is bad in your damper and it needs replacement if you're dripping ink, because the pressure is just going down to the print head and it's not getting cut off by this valve. So very important. It's feature. If you want to spend less time replacing these parts, higher quality inks is highly recommended. I'm getting ready to do a video on inks, and no, all ink isn't the same. It isn't made in the same factory. This is a myth, and the higher quality of ink that you use, the results. I just talked to a guy that likely will watch this video. We built a relationship. He's on my he's a subscriber. He may watch this video, but no disrespect, but me and him I was consulting about some DTF film. He had great film, loved it. He showed me his inks, which I had already tested in the past. They were garbage, and he was saying, hey, they're $11.50 a liter. There was lots of room for me to make money, which was very desirable. But as someone that offers tech support, I cannot use these cheap inks. But he told me he was replacing his dampers once a month. That is ridiculous. Higher quality inks, you're going to have smaller particles that will flow through this filter better, clog them less, and you're gonna have a whole lot less problems with ink starvation, print head clogs, etc. This same guy just messaged me yesterday. I'm not gonna disclose no names, but he said he had, I think, 18 print heads that needed cleaned. The ink is the ink. If you are interested in purchasing any DTF supplies, please rest assured that on my website I only sell inks that I support with my customers. You'll hear lots of people saying, well, we only sell inks we use every day, but they're doing a lot more maintenance than they should. So be very careful when it comes to buying inks. But I'm also going to share with you right here, you can see my head cables. They do not look very appealing. You see that nastiness on them? This is actually hot glue that I've heated up and melted on the cables to ensure that when I replace dampers, we don't get any ink inside this head connector. This is a common thing that I see all the time. People with, fried print heads, because they remove this damper, which I am not going to do, but they'll pull the damper up, they'll hit the valve accidentally, and it'll expel ink. The only time this will expel ink is when you hit this button, and it'll drip ink, which I'll show you, and I'll put a clip in. So what happens here is they get in here and it fries their print heads. Be very careful. Let's see, another note. When removing your ink lines, if you're replacing a damper and you have to remove these ink lines, please note that this again is a gravity-fed pressurized, semi-pressurized system. So this ink is going to be live. It is going to make a mess if you do not clamp off the lines. Typically, Roland printers, Mutos, Mamakis, they have valve systems that you choke and it'll cause the ink to stop, pretty much like putting your finger on top of a straw. Put your straw in a glass, put your finger over it, lift it up, and you'll see that the ink is contained inside that straw. It's no different with the choke valves on this. My machine here has some clamp systems, which I'll put in the video, that allows you to choke this off. So if you try to remove one of these lines right now, you're going to have an inky mess unless you choke it off. This right here is the ink circulation system. I don't recall the name that they call it, but this is your circulation system. When it comes to the white ink, it is not water soluble, so it actually is pretty much like putting sand in a bucket. You can stir the sand up and it would look like it's diluted within the water, but give it some time, it's all going to settle to the bottom. It's no different with the white ink. So what we have to have is a ink circulation system to keep that pigment going, keep it circulated, and that's what the purpose of this is right here. But the problem I see a lot of times with people that I've helped with machines, they'll go replace this damper and they'll just pull it out. Sometimes they leave their ink circulation system on, which creates even more of a mess, but they fail to crimp off these lines. It's very important if you're messing around in the head area. Number one, keep some protection around here. Put some paper towels so you do not risk getting them on your head cables. You can do what I do as well. It does not look the best, but that does help with certain instances, because even a seasoned professional like myself that has done this hundreds of times, there's always room for accident when it comes to messing with live ink. The best way would be to flush the system out, get it out of there, replace the print head, but who has time for that? Who wants to waste all that ink? So I'm no different. So make sure you have something put here, but that's pretty much the general function of the dampers. It's the filter that's the most important. It filters stuff so it doesn't go into your printhead. These i3200 printheads actually have screens inside that act as a last chance filter, which I'll have a video on that real soon as well, to show you how to save these i3200 printheads. But that's all I can think of when it comes to the dampers. These do need to be replaced every 6 months or so. These are very important to replace. They are responsible for some of your ink starvation. If you're struggling with cyan ink starvation, I'm going to have a video dedicated directly to that, because I see a lot of people struggling with that, and it's because the ink is formulated in a different way. But I think that pretty much covers our dampers, and again, it's no different from any machine. That's why I can work on so many different types of machines, because the concept is pretty much the same. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video. If you haven't done so, do me a favor, like and subscribe, very important, and see you in the next video.